Hey guys, so I think the last one we left off we were doing some snow plowing, so I thought I'd get you caught up on where we're at with things over at the Quail Ridge Ranch. My name is John and I live in mid-Michigan, and as I mentioned before on my other videos, I'm a school bus driver. So I'm a retired auto mechanic. I retired for a few years. Got everything caught up on my house, got a little bored, decided I needed a job. Found out real quick, it's a little bit of a challenge getting a job when you're over 50, so I'm 70 years old and it was a challenge. But God works things out for us, and my wife, who knows me well, said, hey, why don't you think about driving the bus? So I did. Went through the whole thing. It's quite a process. It takes maybe a month or so to, you got to learn how to drive the bus, get your CDL, air brake certification, bus driver certification, school bus driver certification, state police background check, vetted because you're with children, drug testing, on the road driving test, and there's, I don't know, 2-3 weeks of in the parking lot and then driving. There's 2 women at our bus garage that are full-time drivers like I am, route drivers, and they were the ones that taught me. So one has been a driver for, I don't know, 25 years, and the other one actually has an associate's degree in transportation. Drove a semi, drove a delivery truck, both very good trainers. So anyways, I thought I'd catch up on some of the events. So we had the 2 big snows. We had about 5 inches. We did the snow plowing video. If you haven't looked at that, take a look. It's kind of cool. The little Kubota tractor works good with the back blades. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. We have a gravel driveway, pretty steep, so we got to plow it, keep it open. We have our cars, we have these older Ford Focus station wagons, and for some reason they're really good in the snow, and then we have each of them equipped with Blizzak snow tires, and they are amazing. It's like 4-wheel drive. It's crazy. So as long as even if I didn't plow the driveway, I bet you those cars would be able to make it easily through the 5 inches. I'll have to show you sometime. It's pretty cool. So when you're a bus driver, one of the challenges, especially if you're older, is not to get sick. So I've got 75 kids. I've got a route of older kids, middle school and high school, and then I have another route where I take the grade school and kindergarten and preschool, first grade. And you're in a big giant metal box that's full of kids, coughing and sniffling and all that. And as you probably know, when you're older, your immune system is not quite as strong. So I've been doing this now for 3 years. The first couple of years it was pretty bad. My boss, who's been doing this all her life, mentioned that this is very common, and teachers go through it when they start teaching grade school and kids. You get these during your immunity system builds up. It just takes a little longer when you're older. So I try to eat healthy. That's one of our things that Laura and I try to do is, we figure that that really is the best solution as you get older. Eat healthy, stay away from sugar, stay away from preservatives and all this stuff. I also take a pretty good load of vitamins, both for my heart and for staying healthy, keeping my immune system. I take zinc and vitamin C and niacin. I take turmeric. I take a multivitamin. So anyways, I did get bronchitis finally this year, and I literally did not use anything but the tincture that my wife makes um, from the mullein plant. It's a weed that grows in your yard. You can Google it, look it up, it's amazing. This stuff worked. I had the bronchitis pretty bad for about 10 days, and the mullein worked. I had drank mullein tea, mullein tincture, kept my vitamins up. Every morning when I come in, my routine is that I get back from the first run in the morning, about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I make a smoothie. It's pretty healthy. It has fermented sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar. I put about a half a banana or any other type of fruit. Don't put a lot of fruit because I don't want too much sugar. So I'm pre-diabetic, which a lot of people are at this age, and sugar is the enemy here. But and then Greek yogurt. I do some powdered psyllium for fiber. Olive oil. I actually put olive oil in there. My heart doctor said you should be drinking olive oil every day. It's very good for you. And some almond milk. Throw a few ice cubes in there and mix it up with a mixer. And that's really what I have for breakfast most of the time. 6 days out of 7 in the week. So, and that holds me till dinner time. So, yeah, so I made it through the bronchitis. I made it through the extreme cold. We had some real cold time where it was down to 0. And I'm an old ice fisherman, so I know how to dress. I've got wool socks. I wear long underwear, a big heavy coat, hat, and the buses take a while to warm up. So it's not till I'm rolling down the road a little bit that it gets some heat in the bus. The buses are not insulated, like the windows leak. It's pretty crazy. But I guess that's the hardest part of being a bus driver, especially at this age. It's the physical part. I don't mind getting up at 4:30 in the morning, which is what I do. I guess I could get up at 5, but I like to get up. And of course I have to take a shower and shave, and I don't really have 2 cups of coffee. That's it. And I like to watch a little YouTube while I'm having my coffee, and then basically just bolt out the door. I live 6 minutes away, 8 minutes maybe, from the bus garage, so it's pretty easy, straight route. Get there, we all have to do the same thing. Start her up, do our pre-checks, and I do the whole thing in 15-20 minutes. And then I'm off down the road. And luckily, hopefully I have enough heat to defrost the windshield so I can see. And then after I'm going down the road about 15-20 minutes, the interior of the bus starts to heat up. So that's good. So I thought I'd fill you in on, a lot of people don't really understand what it's like to be a bus driver. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best job I've ever had. I love going to work. I love my job. But I'm going to share with you a little situation. It's good and it's bad. It's life. I had a little situation where I had a kid on the bus, and I'm going to say he was attacked, bullied, beaten up a little bit by another boy on the bus. And there were some inappropriate things said, attacking this boy verbally. I don't want to get into specifics. It was disgusting. And you wonder, well, why didn't I see it? Well, I'm driving the bus, and there's a huge mirror. I'm sure you've been on a school bus before. And as a driver, you're constantly looking up in that mirror. And you're looking at the kids, but I'm also driving the bus. I'm going down the road at 55 miles an hour down the expressway or the main road. And I've got to control, obviously, this 40-foot school bus driving in the winter when it's snowing, windshield wipers going, defrosters going, kids making lots of noise, and at the same time I've got to look up and see what's going on. So this kid that was attacking this other kid was so smart about it, I guess you could say, that he knew when I wasn't looking in the mirror, and that's when he would attack this other kid. Now, these buses that we have in our bus district, and they're all different, we have cameras inside the bus. There's actually 3 cameras in the bus. and they are recording everything. They're recording everything the kids do. They're recording everything that I do. So if there was ever an accident, they could look and see if I was, distracted or what I was doing exactly. It's also to keep track of what's going on inside the bus. How this went down was the mom called the school and said my son was beaten up today because when I dropped him off after this incident, he just got out of his seat. He's a 5th grader and got off the bus. Didn't say anything, but I guess this kid slapped him in the face pretty good, and he had a mark and he was crying, and it was a terrible situation. A typical textbook bullying situation. The background on the kid that did the bullying is I've been having trouble with him, I guess, for the whole 3 years that I've been driving. So, and you would think that that I would be relieved. Well, now that he's off the bus, yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere on the bus. It changes everything, and it's amazing how one kid can change something. But to be honest with you, I feel bad for this kid because he was a project for me, and I've kicked him off the bus prior to this twice, and his dad came and talked to me, and I figured, boy, he straightened up there, and I said to his dad just came over to the bus one day to talk to me, and his dad is actually a police officer, and I was really impressed. He said, look, if you need anything, here's my cell phone number, give me a call, I'll make sure my boy is gonna, follow the rules. And I thought we were okay, but it just didn't work out right. You would think that we'd all be able to look at it, but the only people that are able to look at that film is my boss, I think maybe someone from the counseling department at the school superintendent, the principal. That's it. There's very strict privacy laws, so you'd think they'd bring the parents in and show them, and they don't. Only under special circumstances, and a lot of forms have to be signed. The reason being is, if those parents came in, there's film of other kids on the bus, and there's privacy laws. So it is what it is. You can't change it. But my boss did share with me in detail what was on the tape, and gave me a pretty good picture of it. She was pretty disgusted, and I felt bad. I felt responsible. I felt like, wow, I missed this. How did I not protect that kid? And she said, John, we looked at you specifically and watched you, and as you looked down to the road and steered the bus, that's when this kid would attack this other kid. When you'd look up and look in that mirror, he would stop. So yeah, they're very stealthy. Bottom line here is we have a great school district. They called the kid and told him, you're off the bus for life. That's it. Enough has happened. You're all done. And as I said, the whole atmosphere on the bus changed. The other parent of the kid, and I have not spoken to either one of them, but evidently the mom was very upset, blamed the whole thing on the school and me and my boss, and her kid's an angel. And honestly, I just feel so bad for that boy because he's not going to be held accountable, and what's going to happen when he gets older. So I just can't get him off my mind, and I don't know, I guess I kind of feel like I failed. He was like a project, and I had worked with him and thought we kind of had things. I tried to explain to him that the being honest and accountable for what you do and your integrity is the most important thing. And I brought him up, this was just a day or so before they actually kicked him off. The school was in the investigative period, because this was a few days after this incident happened. And I knew exactly what had happened, but I pretended that I didn't. And I told the boy, I said, I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. Why don't you tell me your side of the story? And it was pretty sad that he pretty much just lied to me. I did it for 2 days in a row, and the second day I said, let's go over that again. Now, what happened now? And he made up a whole bunch of stuff about this kid that he beat up. And again, am I mad? No, I'm sad. I just sad to see someone go down that path. So I hold, I love all these kids and I want them all to succeed. And anyways, we got a great school district. They did the right thing. Evidently the mom has decided to homeschool the kids, her kids. So she has some other kids in the school. She's pulling them all out, doesn't like the school district. Just for this video, our school district is amazing. That's exactly why I moved here, so that my kids would go to this particular school district. It's got a reputation. MEP scores are very high. It's not a big, giant school. Impeccable. So it just shows you, it's what the parents do. And so that was it. On my bus, I have a thing called education, and then whatever day it is. So if it's Monday, when I bring the kid, and these are the small kids, the little kids, grade school down to the preschool. If it's on a Monday, I say, hey kids, on the PA system, I have a PA system, because we're going to sit over at the school for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, waiting till they can get off the bus. And so sometimes I use it as a period of talk to them. Hey, don't litter on the bus, or no shoving, no pushing, just things like that. Try to teach them. And if it's Monday, I say, hey, it's Education Monday. So I needed to talk to them about this incident a little bit, because the kids had questions. And so I said, hey, it's Education Friday. And I started out by telling them, listen, you guys have been great. Lately, we've had some awesome rides in the bus. I haven't had to tell anybody, keep your feet out of the aisle, stay in your seats. They're following the rules. And, generally speaking, I do not have assigned seating on my bus. And I may have mentioned this on this channel before. My technique, my theory of operation on the bus is a little different than some of the other drivers. I do not have assigned seating. I tell the kids they can pretty much sit wherever they want, but they're only allowed to change seats when the bus is stopped. So when the bus is in motion, they have to sit down properly, because those seats are made, they're like a protective cage. So if we're in a crash, the padding on the seat in front of the seat is going to protect them. And I've taught them that, so they actually understand. It's not just do it because I said so, it's do it because then I explain it to them. So they actually understand. They cannot have their feet in the aisle, because if we have to do an emergency evacuation, we don't want somebody to trip in the aisle and the kids to pile up, and we've got to get out fast. And we do practice emergency evacuations. So we go into the parking lot, we do it in the spring when it's warm, and we do 3 of them with all the kids, and they have to go out, half of them have to go out the back door and half to go out the front door, and they have to do it quickly, and I'm the last one off, check all the seats, make sure everybody's off. We all go to a safe spot. But my goal when I drive the bus is to teach the kids how to act, so that if they were to get on a public bus in a large city, that they would be able to function like an adult. And that they have to not touch anybody's stuff. They have to be respectful of other people. Move over, make room in the seat. These seats are big enough for 3 people. And that type of thing. So I'm pretty happy with them. It's, yeah, I had that incident. We have a few incidents here and there, but they're learning, and they're amazing kids. So I'm pretty happy. So that's good. That's the life of a bus driver. Bus drivers don't make a ton of money. A lot of people quit bus driving because they can't handle it. I'm in the opposite situation. I figure that everybody in life has a job. I love kids. And so for me, I look forward to going to work. Again, yeah, getting up at 4:30 in the morning when it's 0 degrees out, it's snowing. It's a little tough, but I've been doing it all my life, and gosh, even on the weekends I get up early. I just like doing it. I've always worked for myself, so I've always had to be kind of self-motivated, and I really don't have to set an alarm anymore. So, but yeah, other than that, everything's been going great. We're getting our buses ready for each year. All the buses have to be inspected by the state police. That's a big thing. I mean, we actually have someone from the state police, from the Michigan State Police. They actually camp out. They set up a desk in the garage, and this guy is this inspector is in the bus garage for a whole week with our mechanic. They put the buses right up on the hoist. So it's important that you guys know this. If you have kids in school, this is neat. And you know, if you have questions about the bus, how it works at least in where I drive, mechanically, how we handle kids, anything, write me in the comments. I'd love to answer the questions. I think there's a lot of stuff, misconceptions that parents have about how we do things. So there's a why and a wherefore, trust me, for everything. And how we do the scheduling, how we do the drops, everything. It's all thought out. It's very technical, really. But yeah, we're getting ready for the big state police inspection. If you don't pass the inspection, the school district can't use the bus. So the brakes are torn apart, all the air lines, hydraulic lines, lighting systems, everything's all checked out. So, and in the process, we have our own people that go through and inspect it before the state police get there to save time, because we want to hit stuff that's pretty obvious. So on our switch panel where I drive in I call it the command center, it's like inside of a B-17, every light has to work. Every little switch, lighted switch has to work. The horns have to work. The wiper blades have to be good. There can't be any clutter around. Everything has to be working perfectly. Obviously the brakes and the slack adjusters on the brakes have to be all adjusted. Tires have to have certain tread depth. Suspension systems can't have too much play. It's pretty neat. That's keeping your kids safe. It's keeping everybody safe. It shows you how safe buses are, at least in Michigan, I know that. And on my bus they discovered an air leak, another one, because these are air brakes. And luckily the girl that was doing the pre-inspection, which was one of my instructors that taught me how to drive the bus, she's very sharp. She caught the air leak right away, and I had to jump in a different bus. So that's a little hard. I'm used to my bus. It's you get used to your own bus, how it drives. I had to get in one that was built in 2012. I think mine was built in 2018. So I drive a Holland Bluebird Vision 2018 40-foot school bus with a gas. It's a Ford 7.2 liter gasoline engine. It's a 4-speed automatic. It's a great bus, easy to drive, no air conditioning, just heat, basic bus. These buses, we buy them off lease from other school districts that lease them from new. So when we get them, they have about 30,000 miles on them. A new bus like that is about $140,000. And we buy them for $110,000, something like that. So buses are expensive. Imagine we've got close to 20 buses. We have 12 routes, and those other 8 buses are 6 to 8. We're down to 4 to 6 now. Those are spares, so that when the other buses are being repaired, we can keep the routes going. But we got the air leak fixed. We have a new driver. We have a new woman that came in. She's being trained right now. She seems real nice. It's exciting to see some new blood coming in. That's because we have to have extra drivers. So if people have a doctor's appointment or a family emergency or a vacation, someone's got to be able to take over. And we do have one driver, Carter, our younger driver, that fills in, but because we've had someone out sick, we got somebody that's got some stuff going on. Our boss has had to drive, and Carter, our fill-in driver. So we're going to go ahead and train a new driver. I don't think she's taken the driving test yet, but she seems real nice. Friday, she got to ride with Kelly, the girl that drives next to me on Route 2, and I kidded her. I said, is this the first time you've been on the bus with kids? And she said yes, and I laughed and I said, run. No, she said I'm a little, I don't know, is he scared, but you know, she can see what's going on. It does get better. Yeah, you're going to learn every single name of, every single kid. Diet Coke, by the way. I don't drink sugar. I don't drink very much pop either. A couple cans a week, that's about it. You're going to learn every single kid, their name. You're probably going to meet half of their parents, and you're going to learn when they have band and when they don't, and when they're going to be on and when they're on vacation and everything. So it is a little intimidating when you start. It was for me anyways. And you know, you're scared. You don't want to miss picking up someone. And the other part that's challenging too, you know, my eyes aren't as good at my age. I have very good vision. The only reason I wear these glasses is for reading, but when I'm driving I have 20/20 vision. My night vision isn't quite as good. So yeah, when you're driving you've got to go find these stops. And I'm in a rural farming area, so these are not city streets with sidewalks and overhead lights. This is out in the middle of God's country. Down gravel roads, dodging white-tailed deer. That's probably the biggest obstacle for me. I have to be careful. And but you get used to it. There's, you know, mailboxes have reflectors on them, and I've done it now for 3 years with the same group of kids, and I can see them as I'm approaching in the driveway. Each year I'm losing kids because they're graduating, they're seniors, or they get their driver's license. And at the same time, I get a couple more kids at new stops. So you do have to learn some new stops, and the schedule's all figured out by the dispatcher, but you do have some say in adjusting it, moving it to a little couple driveways up, or changing the pickup times a little bit. So it's one thing nice about our district. My boss drove bus, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Her mom was a bus driver, and her grandmother was a bus driver. Her grandmother was her bus driver, so she's a third-generation bus driver. Some people work for dispatchers that have never driven a bus. My boss jumps in the bus. If someone's sick, we have a last-minute emergency we need to fill in, she just jumps in the bus and she knows every single route. So that blows my mind. There's no way I could do it. I know my 75 kids and where they go. You know, when you drop little kids off, preschool and first graders, there has to be an adult there to take them at the driveway. You can't just drop them off on the side of the road. So if you get there and there's no one there, then you got to call into dispatch, and they have to call the parents, and it happens. Somebody gets caught up at work, or they're in the house, they're watching TV and they forget, and you got to call them and say, hey, and then they'll call their house and say, we're having them come down the driveway right now, and you're waiting there. If for some reason we can't get a hold of the parents, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. We take the child back to the bus garage and then wait for someone to come. So, yeah, you're responsible for these kids. So, so yeah, that's it. That's the latest I wanted to give you. I got a little behind on making a YouTube video because the bronchitis got me down, and just working and fighting the bronchial stuff, it tired me out. And I think, you know, it was not only that Laura was keeping me alive with this mullein tincture and the tea and the eating healthy and taking my vitamins, but I also got a lot of rest. And my typical thing is I take a nap every day from noon to 1, and then about 1:45 I take off to go back to the bus garage. So that 1 hour of rest is amazing. It's a really good thing. Um, and it refreshes me. I don't feel tired at all in the afternoon. I feel good. But when I had that bronchitis, my nap turned into an hour and a half. There was a couple of days there where it was 2 hours I slept because your body's fighting that. So I feel good now. New things coming up. When we did the snow plowing video, which if you haven't seen it, look at it. It's kind of cool. If you like to watch it, it's got some pretty good music. I thought it was good. I picked out the first part of the music. Laura picked out the second. She did all the filming. My wife's she's amazing with the camera. We bought one of these action cameras. If you say GoPro, everybody knows that. It's a DJI Action 4, but it's just like a GoPro. It's a waterproof, little tiny camera. I have it right here. It's the coolest little thing. See it right here? Just this little camera. Gosh, if it gets dirty, just put it under the faucet. You can take it 30 feet underwater, but it's neat. It's lightweight. You can hook it in, put it in your car. I am going to put it on the bus just to show Laura what it's like with the kids, but I'm not allowed to film any of the kids. I couldn't put them on YouTube, and I'm not allowed to film inside the bus, so unfortunately I can't show you that, but it'll give my wife an idea of what I do. I tell her every day when I come home. She asks me what went on with the kids, and she kind of knows most of the kids now because for 3 years I've had some of these kids the whole time. But we bought the action camera. It's pretty neat. We're learning how to use it, so we're going to be able to get some cool outside stuff. I will drive some of the roads that my route is on because I drive in a very beautiful, picturesque farming area. So my sunrise that I'm getting in different areas now is gorgeous. The herds of white-tailed deer going through the farmer's field and crossing the road in front of me, it's pretty cool. And I see hawks, I've seen eagles, I see a lot of different wildlife when I'm out. And of course we have farms with horses and cows and goats and sheep and chickens, and about half the roads I drive are gravel roads. Whoops, there's my phone. Turn that off. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm lucky. I have a beautiful, and the route that I drive goes right in front of my house, so it's right where I've lived for 22 years. I'm very familiar with all the roads, so it's pretty cool. And so I will try to get some of those shots and show you, because there's one area where I go where there's this Christmas tree farm, and it's way up on a hill and kind of back, and it's just beautiful. And the view, I was just talking to my boss about it, you kind of have to be in the bus, because when you sit in the bus you're so high up and you can see down. But I'll go out with I have a four-wheel drive F-250. It's raised up pretty high off the ground, has big tires and everything, that we use for the truck camper. And I'll go out and film with that, and I'll get that neat view of this lake and the rolling hills and all the trees from the tree farm. It's just gorgeous. And just a lot of the roads that I go on are just gorgeous. I'm so lucky to have this route. Went to Friday when I got done driving this Friday. Saw some signs up for an estate sale at a house 2 doors from where I was dropping one of my kids off. So I went back there. Laura and I love going to estate sales. We used to do it quite a bit. We used to sell a lot of stuff on eBay and have garage sales. We don't do that anymore, but we do like going to estate sales, and I'll have to tell you, I would recommend it if you enjoy stuff like that, to go out. You can save a lot of money. You can find stuff, good stuff, older stuff that you're looking for, and we've gotten pretty good at it. Every estate sale is a little different with the type of stuff. This particular one was just regular household stuff, and the people that were running the sale they had things priced correctly, and they were real negotiable on the price. The guy said, I want this thing cleaned out quick. So Friday went there and looked. We bought some stuff, some gardening stuff. Laura actually bought some packages of soil that was all packaged up in those big plastic bags like peat moss and stuff. Got them dirt cheap. we spotted a giant electric roaster. So you've probably seen that in the old days. Your grandma probably had one. It's a roaster. It's electric, big enough you can put a whole turkey in. And she's going to use that to cook down her tallow. So we get the tallow from the cow that we get every year, or the quarter cow. And she spotted that. I went back this morning and picked it up. Thing's brand new. It looks like they used it maybe once, but it looks perfect. $5 for this thing. So the guy was really, today everything was 50% off. And then I like electronic stuff, so I found some really cool, if you want to Google them and look it up, they're realistic Radio Shack Optimus 27 speakers. So they're pretty good size stereo speakers, but they're not very deep. But what's neat about them, they only made them 1 year, I believe it was 1980. And they have these very high quality, and I think they're called Peerless speakers, the actual speaker assembly. My son-in-law is very much into audio stuff, so I called him this morning and told him about these speakers. I bought both speakers for $7. So the guy said tomorrow they're going to be finishing it up. He's actually cleaning everything out. They're getting a big dumpster. He's going to shampoo all the carpeting, wash the windows, and then he's a realtor. I think he's going to list the house. We're going to go back tomorrow. There's a couple more things in there that I'm going to take a look at. So I like electronic things. I saw a little speaker, or not a speaker, an amplifier for an electric guitar, and just a cheap electric guitar. I may purchase that because I'm going to get a couple of musical instruments. And I don't know how to play, but I'm going to set up some musical instruments out in the barn because we do our karaoke out there. And my son-in-law plays piano pretty good, and we have a friend that plays guitar pretty good. I thought it'd be kind of fun, maybe get a set of drums, have some stuff going. We'll just fool around. If I can buy it real cheap. So yeah, so that's it. So next week, just a regular old thing. We're getting warm now, so we're having some days that are in the 40s, so I can ditch the long underwear and relax a little bit. And I took my coat off the other day in the bus. You know, it's interesting, these buses, when you get in there and it's on a winter, I was telling you before, morning, it's 0 degrees out. I mean, it's cold. But you load 40 or 50 kids inside, and the body heat from all these kids, the whole inside of the bus slowly starts to warm up. It's really kind of cool. So they get warm. So on a day that's 40, you don't need any heaters on at all. There's more than enough heat. You probably crack a couple windows. I guess the downside is in the middle of July or whenever, when you're in the summertime, when it's hot, There's no air conditioning. We just open all the windows and it can get pretty hot. But wear short sleeve shirts and sweaters and or shorts, and we're fine. So you deal with it. So anyways, that's it. Thought I'd get you guys all caught up on everything. Everything's positive. We're having fun getting ready for spring. Spring is in the air. You know, we're not that far away. My wife's going to take a little trip down to Florida to visit with one of her friends. I'm, of course, going to stay home with Daisy and me. Daisy's our dog. So I got to drive the bus. Probably have I think my son's going to come up and hang with me on the weekend, and he might even grab my youngest daughter, and they'll come up. And my daughter likes to cook. My son's probably got some projects he's going to work on, so they'll hang with me that one weekend when Laura's gone, so old Dad doesn't get too lonely. So, anyways, glad you came along to watch the video. I'd love to have you shoot me some questions about the bus, anything about the school bus, what it's like to drive it. It's a neat thing. It's like I've said before, and I'll say it again. Oh, and one more thing. I got to remember this too. When I did the education Friday, after we had that incident, I kind of surprised the kids because when I drive to work in the morning, I do a lot of praying when I'm driving. It's just my time that I like to, I'm alone in the car. Excuse me. And I prayed on inspiration from God of what I was going to say to the kids. And it came out really good. God helped me out, and I told the kids, I said, you did great, because I want to praise them and give them credit where credit is due. I'm not one of these guys that's going to throw candy at them. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it from a medical standpoint, because it's a bunch of sugar and it's not a good habit to get into. But I think the kids need to learn to be good citizens without being bribed. They just need to know that's the right thing to do. But anyways, I kind of threw the kids because we had a real, I'm going to call a short load. We had a lot of kids on. There were some kids that were out sick, and there were a few kids on vacation. You know, they were down in Florida or something. And the bus was very, very nice and quiet, and I thought, well, this is a good opportunity. And I looked at the kids, and I was talking to them all while we were waiting at the school, and I said, listen, you guys, Mr. John's got to tell you something. I'm not who you think I am. Boy, you talk about some clickbait, right? They're all like, what? And I said, listen, my job is to drive this bus and get you back and forth from your house to school and from school back to your house safe and sound. And that's my job. That's what I do for a job, but that's not my mission. And one of the kids, I said, my mission, and one of the kids says, is to tell the truth. And I said, that's right. That my mission is to teach you honesty, integrity, kindness, truthfulness, and that's really what it is. That is why I enjoy my job. I'm with the kids. Now think about this. I love stats. 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night. So that's 6 hours a day that I'm driving the bus. Times 5 days a week, that's 30 hours a week. Even if I'm not with every single kid one-on-one for 30 hours, cut it in half, that's 15. I mean, cut that in half, that's 7.5. That's a lot to spend with a small group of kids. It's good. I get to know them. I hear their stories. I can tell in the morning when I pick them up if they're having a bad morning. I know which kids are morning kids and which kids aren't. I can tell when they're having something going on at home just by their mood. Sometimes they get on, they got a frown on their face. Little kids. I had a little girl, her dog got hit by a car. She was pretty upset. I had to talk to her. But I get to know them just like I got to know my own kids. You know, just, it's amazing. So you have the chance as a bus driver to have an influence on the kids, and that is my mission, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I do get into situations once in a while where it's very challenging, like this one boy I had. Yeah, who knows, maybe he'll come back on the bus someday and I'll have to deal with it again, but I pray a lot, and God sends me the answers. I really believe that. I know it. And it works out good. And you know, when I get into a tight spot and I can't figure out, it's easy because I just say to myself, well, how would I treat my own kids? My own kids turned out fantastic. They're great citizens. I love my kids. And we have a good relationship. Well, I just do the same thing with these kids. And it works pretty good. So anyways, hope I didn't ramble too much. Again, I'm glad you came along to watch the video. Please, if you have any questions or comments, suggestions, put them in the comments. If you want to see more stuff, subscribe. We're going to get into some cool stuff this summer. Obviously I'm off for the whole summer. We'll probably maybe do some camping stuff. We're definitely going to get into some metal detecting. I will revisit the ham radio. And gardening. We got all kinds of projects on the farm. And you can see that I get into a whole lot of stuff. Laura gets into a whole lot of stuff. we're busy retired people. We don't have very much time at all. We're constantly doing stuff. So I'm glad you came, and hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Adios.